So how are you feeling about our wedding planning so far?
I'm feeling great, but honestly, I haven't done a lot of the planning. You've been doing all of it. Even so much so that the wedding planner and our DJ, who we just got, don't even email me. So
yeah, I'm not sure the DJ has your email, but our wedding planner definitely does. But I think because I've been the email that's been in constant communication, that she just reaches out to me.
So, I mean, it's a little embarrassing just because I'm like, I didn't realize she stopped emailing me. And
I mean, like, I tell you to read the emails when they come up, but now I just forward them to you.
Yeah.
So
I was like, oh, yeah, great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it's going really well, and you've been doing a great job on planning it and being in contact with everyone. And we really finally just got our last piece, which was the DJ.
Yes.
So we're going to sign that contract and pretty much be done, I think. After this, it's just really the finishing details.
Yeah, finishing touches.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our episode today. We're going to be talking about the wedding planning process, how it's been for us. Mm-hmm. We just mentioned that we found a DJ, which is amazing. But I feel like not everybody knows prior to getting married all the details that go into wedding planning. And if you are new to our channel at all, we are the GOEL podcast, or Get Out and Enjoy Life podcast. I'm Elexa.
And I'm Abe.
And we just talk about travel, what's going on in our lives, fun events we go to. We kind of just want to share our experiences with people.
Yeah.
So as far as wedding planning, I feel like there's so many details that have come up that I didn't even know were something we needed to be aware of.
It's just, I mean, starting the planning was horrendous,
hard.
Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
We fought so much. Like,
we did.
So
like,
much, yeah.
Yeah, more than we ever have.
We never fought really like that before. Like, and it wasn't like nasty fights or anything. It was just like we were just in disagreements all the time.
Constantly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like after we got engaged in last August, I was like so excited. I was like, okay, Abe, you know, once you proposed to me, like, we got to get this wedding planning process going.
Yeah.
And so when we came back from a trip that we were on, I was already starting to look up, you know, different wedding websites, Wedding Wire, The Knot, Zola, whatever was out there, just Googling everything. And really quickly, you realize there's a lot of options out there, a lot of possibilities.
A lot of different price ranges.
Yes, I was going to say that. A lot of money involved in this.
It can be as little money as you want or as much money as you, like, all your money, literally.
Right. Abe wanted to elope.
Yep.
Right.
I wanted to go travel, and because we just got back from a trip when we got engaged.
Yeah.
And wanted to go just elope and take all the money that we would have spent on a wedding, to, you know, do maybe just immediate family, and then go and travel for 3 months or I don't know, not 3 months, but another month, I could say. And and so, and then you're like, no, I want this, this, and this, and this. And
I had a dream, basically.
I'm like, we don't have that money to do that. And we weren't going to expect our parents to pay for it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had a lot of disputes about like how to cut costs.
Also where it was going to be.
Yeah, where it was going to be.
How many people we were going to have.
Yeah.
What else?
And then initially we were going to plan to have it in Maui, which is where I'm from, and it was going to be on my parents' property.
Right.
It was going to be pretty, you know, I think pretty cheap. So our wedding, you know, costs about $1,000, which really it's $1,000, but with taxes and gratuity, that's, you know, what is that? $1,000 in that.
Yeah.
And so we had averaged, you know, kind of spot checked things and estimated that it would be about that much. And
that's about the average price of a wedding these days, unfortunately.
So we were like, oh, it'll be in Maui. It's a destination wedding.
Yeah.
It'll keep it low cost by having it on my parents' property. They have a couple acres. And but then it was like, how do you get everyone there, and then your grandma doesn't fly, so then there's that whole...
And she's,
we
she
wanted
wasn't gonna
her
be able
there.
to fly, and I felt like she was a very important part of our wedding. I mean, she doesn't have a specific part, but it was important that she be there. I think
she's only a grandparent, actually, because my grandparents are passed, and yours... Yeah, you have one grandparent.
I have one grandparent and left, and I just felt like I don't want to have this without her being there. Of course, my parents too, but especially
she was like
her.
The one that I think changed it, actually.
Yeah, she was
completely.
She's been very influential in my life, and so I was like, this is important. Like, I'm the first grandchild, first of her grandchildren getting married.
Yeah.
And who knows, what will happen next.
Sure.
So, I didn't want her to miss it either. So that also like pulled me like, oh, we should have our wedding in Washington. But then again, with that came a lot of other pieces.
Well, to back up one more thing was also like the price of having it in Maui was cheaper.
For us.
For us. Not maybe for the people
those
going
traveling there.
But also your grandma, but then also you really want, then you're like, we contemplated with the idea of to solve the issue of your grandma not coming, we were going to have like host like wedding not ceremony, but like what do you call it? I can't
like
think
a
of it.
live stream.
No, not a live stream where we what happens after the wedding where you go dance? I can't think of the word all of a sudden. A reception.
Yes, we thought
we're
about having
host
a reception here.
Reception here in Washington for everyone that maybe wasn't invited, but then that's a whole bunch of money. Anytime you say wedding for anything, it like exponentially increases the price.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, the wedding business is just...
The people that are in it are smart. I mean, literally.
Literally. So, that was going to be a whole thing to figure out, to have an event, to figure out the space, who would hold, all these people. We would have had to figure out, like, catering and...
And then there was no wedding planner either. That was
no wedding planner.
You were going to do it, and I was honestly at the time very begrudgingly like not wanting to like move my feet on anything.
Yeah.
And so
yeah. Because I was like, oh no, like it was very exciting for the possibility of having like a destination wedding. I memean, it's your home where you're from, but like, having it in a place that's beautiful and warm and, bringing, a lot of people there, a lot of our family there was really exciting. But at the same time, I was like, oh no, how am I going to do this from another state?
Yeah.
Yes, I have Abe's parents living there, of course, but then like, how am I going to be able to see things and touch them? And I had already started looking at like catering companies. I don't know if I had looked at officiants yet, but I was looking at the officiant process. I was looking at like event companies that could bring in chairs and all these things because you need everything down to the details. A possible DJ, like it was just going to be a lot to do from afar for me without like having a wedding planner. And when you look into wedding planners,
they're expensive.
They're not cheap.
They're like 5,000 starting, 2,000 maybe starting.
I mean,
depends
I guess
what
it
you
depends.
get. But and we talked to your brother about how he did his wedding, and we actually took some pieces from how he did his wedding a little bit. Like we're having him officiate our wedding.
We are,
He had his best friend officiate his wedding, so
so he's gonna officiate ours. We almost went with the same piece of having the ceremony at a family member's house, but that honestly just was not going to make sense for us logistically. I mean, we could have done it, I think, if we did like an elopement package or something where it was like 6 people come, because the elopement packages on Maui or in Hawaii that I looked at.
Elope, so
I didn't, but wouldn't you have wanted your siblings there at least? Because his family plus my immediate family is 17 people.
Like, so it's already a lot of people.
So it's already massive. And so much bigger than those packages have space for. Like if you want to get married on the beach, for example.
And so we started looking around here. Yeah. And that was a whole nother thing. We were looking at, I forget the name of the app that we had looked at. It's where you can rent out like like really anything. You can rent out a coffee shop. You can rent out an
Peer
apartment.
space.
Yeah, peer
Peer
space.
space.
Peer space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started looking at that of even doing something in that.
Also
like,
small.
right?
But
Small,
using just a different type, like
venue.
a non-traditional type venue.
Taking wedding out of the
Yes,
the
taking
price tag
wedding
basically.
out. But there was a lot of there's a lot of stipulations
And
when
logistics
when you're using a space that's not usually used for weddings.
Yeah.
Some spaces look nicer than others. Some only accommodate a certain amount of people. And so that was kind of like, okay, we're not doing that. I think we contacted one space and it was just a bit tricky. So didn't do that. So it was time to go look for bigger venues.
Like an actual wedding venue. Like
Yeah.
That's all they really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we looked at like wineries that were beautiful.
Lavender farms. That
Lavender.
we almost went with a
Oh my
lavender farm.
gosh.
Honestly, it was gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful. Like,
And the guy that owned it was amazing.
yeah, really cool.
But it didn't work out with the date. We almost were going to sign the contract and
Yes,
everything.
I know.
And then
cannot believe
there was a
that.
mix-up in the dates, and the date didn't work. But
Oh my
I mean, that
gosh.
space is something like
It was so
$12,000, I think.
expensive.
$12,000 just to use the space.
And to have
Yeah.
him as the wedding planner,
Right,
but he
yeah.
doesn't really help you with the details.
Not like a
in the
traditional
in
wedding
a-
planner. Yeah.
Yeah, in a traditional sense, which I'm not sure I even know what a traditional
Yeah.
sense is, but I think they help you kind of figure out some
Mm-hmm.
details and you can go to them. But yeah, that was just basically for the venue and for him to kind of help out,
Yeah. And then
which would have been insane.
I think it was your mom that
Absolutely.
ended up finding this space that we're
Yes.
using now.
Yeah, my mom ended up finding this venue, and she kept telling me, or she told me once or twice, "Hey, check out this venue. It is all inclusive," is what she kept telling me. And what I didn't realize when we actually started looking for venues is that not all of these venues come with chairs or
Yeah.
tables. You have to rent these separately. Like, it isn't
Or
just
linen.
there. Linens.
That was the big, yeah.
I don't even know what else. Just things that add up so quickly and you don't even think about. You
pay
just
people
think
to get them there and everything else.
you gotta tip everybody,
Yeah.
like, which is great. I mean, thank you for your service,
Right.
but like when
just
you're
adds
you're
up.
already paying a
Yeah.
price, like even for
You're
a
already paying-
photographer
yeah.
or anything, like you're already paying a price, and now you have to tip them 20% on top of that. So yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. So when she said all inclusive, I'm kind of like, what's this place? And I hadn't seen it on any wedding website that I looked at, actually. I had
wonder where
never
she
seen
found it.
I don't know what she was looking up, honestly, but the couple wedding websites I looked at, I didn't see it. So I went to look at it. Beautiful place. Abe and I think, kind of wanted a garden style, outdoor type wedding.
That was my big ask. Since it was going to be in Washington, I wanted to have it outside.
Yes. And so then we started looking for places like that. And we actually went and toured our venue. And it was...
The
what do you
back
wanna say?
up, we actually toured a horrible venue prior to it. We did the Lavender Farm.
Yes. I
And then we
forgot.
did this place in Ording, which honestly, it looked pretty good on paper or online.
Looked beautiful.
And just to kind of lead up to the place that we're going to, because it was like, it looked really great. And
The
then
photos on the
got-
website,
yeah,
amazing. Like, looked
Yeah.
glorious. Garden style wedding. Like,
Everything.
could
There's a
hold
house,
a good
yeah.
amount of people. Had a pool.
But we went and toured it, and the person that was giving us the tour maybe was a little bit immature.
Was new.
Yeah.
For sure,
For
it felt
sure.
like.
And then didn't know any
Any
real
details
on
about
the
the
site.
property.
And that was a red flag kind of immediately.
Yeah.
And then we went in, one of my things with the wedding is I wanted to be like, for us, right? It's about the bride, but also,
It's about both
both.
of us. Yeah.
And so I'm like, so, she has an area where the bride can get ready and everything. I'm like, so where's the groom get ready? And she's like, oh, it's out here. and it was in the backyard, in this like, I don't want to call it a shed. Yeah, it was a pool house. They converted the pool house into like
the groom's getting ready area.
Which, maybe for some people, I was like, what? This is, I mean, I guess it works in theory because you're separated and you don't want to see each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just felt a little weird. And then we asked for details, and she was looking on her Instagram for the information.
Because we asked about date availability.
Yeah.
Money is a big piece here. Yeah. It's thousands of dollars. Yeah. And so
we didn't have it either. That's the other thing. Like, we had some.
We had some.
But
we knew that we were going to get some kind of...
We got some money from our parents, but we had to pay a large chunk of it.
Yes, we were paying a large chunk of this wedding. We're paying the majority of it. And she was looking up dates and things like that, but she couldn't tell us like exact prices of things. Mm-hmm. Couldn't tell us the dates. It was just like, I'm sorry, like I need numbers, basically, is kind of like what I said to Abe later on. Yes, it looked cute in the photos, but they had just had a wedding there. And so everything wasn't cleaned up, like the chair, like...
Well, there's mold on the roof and things like that.
Yeah, you saw those details. The chairs weren't that great. They kind of looked like scuffed up and stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, it's like such an important day in our lives that it's like, we want things to be nice, you know?
If you're going to pay,
if you're going to pay that much
good amount of money for it. Yeah. So, coming back to it, sorry, I derailed you a little bit, but coming back to... Your mom found this place.
Yes.
And we went and toured it with your mom, actually. And I think your younger sibling.
My sister, I think. And, the tour was great. There's a beautiful house on the property. Mm-hmm. It's like 37 acres. And they grow fruits and vegetables and all that on the property. It's kind of like a farm-to-table situation. And we were able to actually like walk the ceremony path into the ceremony area. Big, beautiful trees. There's a pond where we can get in a rowboat and take photos in the pond. And then what's nice is that there's a whole separate reception area in the lower area of the property, so that we can kind of have everybody move from the ceremony to then the cocktail hour to then... They keep going down, and then there's a reception area with a big tent and chandeliers. And
the person that showed it to us was very knowledgeable.
Really knowledgeable.
She was able to answer all of our questions, and
she even showed us pictures.
Right.
Like that.
She actually had like a photo album.
Yeah, the other couples had taken.
Like a physical photo album. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we could look through. And the other kind of big selling point was, like you said, everything was inclusive. And so she was able to really give us a price for, not a hard price, but really a good estimate
like of... Like an itemized list,
what
basically.
We were going to pay.
Yeah.
And what the minimum that we had to pay.
Yeah, and what also was nice is, like, she started, like, just asking us these very detailed questions. Mm-hmm. What kind of cake do you think? What kind of whatever? Do you want cocktail hour? Or do you want this? Mm-hmm. What kind of drinks you thinking? Like... all of that, and then she wrote up a whole like itemized list of everything, so we could actually see kind of a tentative price based on how many people we thought were coming.
Yeah, and so this company that's doing our wedding, they actually are a catering company.
Yeah, they own our venue.
Right, and so they started out as a catering company, is my understanding, and then they catered other weddings or catered weddings and such, and then they actually bought their own venue, and so they're the catering company who owns the venue, and then also the area where our reception is, they actually have like a little kitchen area there where they can just bring out all the food. It's I don't know, it's very fluid from what it's going to sound like. Yeah,
and actually, so I believe if you book with them on a Saturday, for example, like also we should just talk about Saturday is more expensive to have your wedding, on that day instead of like a Friday
and
when we're
Sunday
having our
pretty
wedding.
Expensive too.
Actually, it's the same price as our Friday.
Oh, it is? Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Our wedding's on a Friday, which took down the price of the venue by quite a bit, like $3,000.
$3,000.
And, anyways, when you have your wedding there on a Saturday, you're required to contract with their catering company. Whereas if you do any other day, then you don't have to. So we had the option if we wanted to go with a different catering company, but it was like, we might as well go with the company that owns it, because what else came with the catering was a wedding planner.
They kind of get you a little bit. So the wedding planner is free, but you don't get the day of coordinator, which I think probably will really help.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I think it's like, I forget the amount. It's
it's
a couple. I think a couple thousand. Like, I think it's 1,500.
It's 1,500. To have
but,
a day of coordinator.
So really, the wedding planner is like 1,500. Sort of.
Which
not
is
really,
cheaper
but,
than some other wedding planners.
It's a ton cheaper. Some of them are like 5 or up.
Yeah, 5,000
so,
or up.
yeah, it should be great. And the two things that are not inclusive in this wedding venue are the DJ and the photographer.
And actually the officiant, but we're
And the
using my
officiant,
brother, so that part's
Makes it
taken
easy.
care of.
Yeah.
So we still had to go out, find the photographer, find the DJ.
And they gave us a list, though,
of preferred vendors.
Yeah, of people that they knew did well and worked well.
In really multiple categories. I mean, they had a photographer category, DJ. They even had like live music as a category, photo booths, a couple other things. And so actually both our photographer and DJ are on their preferred list.
Yeah.
I actually, before we even got the preferred list, I had looked at our photographer before.
Yeah.
And we met her not too long ago because we did engagement photos. And she was great. She was really kind.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to take really great photos at our wedding. And then we just found the DJ. We kind of
dragged our feet a little bit.
Yeah, waited a long time. There's just been...
the DJ group is an interesting group. They're not like, I should say... It's not like a standardized group from what we're finding out.
Right.
Like, really, you can pay a lot, it sounds like, a lot of money, and it might not be the highest end DJ, and you can pay a smaller amount of money, and they might be a great DJ.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were being told across the board as well, and we started kind of interviewing people as well, and it's kind of what we found.
Yeah.
So
it's so important that if you're, kind of tackling this piece of your wedding, that you call these people, call DJs, call photographers, or at least be emailing with them or something and like their photos, because like the DJ, they set the tone for the wedding. I mean, the music is a huge piece of the reception and at dinner, for the dancing.
Yeah. And we found out with, it sounds like sometimes DJs will work for like almost like an agent, like a company.
Yeah, kind of.
And then
agency.
and then you're not really communicating with the DJ, you're communicating with their agent, which
like with their administrative assistant, basically.
Right. And so you're not getting the feel for the DJ. So we opted not to go for that route and just go for the like straight shot to the person that's going to be DJing.
Yeah, and I think I reached out to
like six
five
DJs?
or
Yeah,
six
5 or 6
DJs. Most of them are already booked for our date. We're about 4 months out. And so there were a couple of people we were really interested in, but they were like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
And so it was like
long.
we were like getting down to the wire, and it's like we don't want to keep looking and looking and looking and reaching out to people and calling people. It's like as soon as we find somebody we want we want to go with them. So we found our DJ. We were able to speak to him directly on the phone, ask him questions. His package basically has a lot of things: lights, 2 different sound like system setups, because we need that because, of course, the ceremony and the reception are in different areas. So we need that. He has microphones and things like that. And we really liked his personality. Yeah. And he liked the music that we liked.
Which is R&B.
Yeah. Well, not just R&B. I also told him R&B, pop, and top 40, which is like things that are played on the radio. and like line dances, so we could like, get out there and dance.
Unfortunately, it's some of the other DJs didn't really go with what the type of music that we wanted. We suggested the kind of music that we wanted, or Alexa suggested some of the music that she wanted.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we could probably find someone to do that.
Yeah,
which is like,
I don't want probably. I want somebody to be into
passionate
that,
about it, right?
be passionate about it, and like that, because it'd just be bad all the way around if somebody doesn't, kind of vibe with what we want.
It was R&B that I think you asked about,
Yeah,
and they were
I
like,
said R&B,
no.
and she's like, and I'm like, what? I mean, I know not everybody likes that music, but
It's our wedding. We find someone that likes it.
we need to find somebody who does, so that they know a few songs at least. So yes, I can't wait to sign that contract and be done with that piece. Now, I mean, outside of that, we've also chosen like the florals. So that's done. We've chosen the settings.
And your wedding,
what
and also
colors.
your wedding dress.
I have my wedding dress, which is exciting. Still need to do like alterations and things like that. All these things I suggest looking into in advance about timelines of when you have to do stuff, because I'm basically right on time in April for our wedding in August to do the alterations for my dress. It's about time to get Abe's suit.
Yep.
So we need to do
For
that.
that.
Make an appointment.
And then how did we pay for it? Like we said, we got some money from our parents from each side.
Yeah.
But then we were left with a pretty big chunk of money in the double digits, you could say. And
yes.
We basically just sat down and looked at our finances, and we said we have to save this amount for every month until then. And we were fortunate enough that we could save that amount.
Yes.
But yeah, that's how we figured it out. We said, we're going to save this amount, and we didn't waver from it or deviate from it at all. And we did pretty good, and we've paid it off.
The wedding
and
is
so
paid off.
Now we're just working on getting our honeymoon.
Sitting in our accounts, basically, until
it's kind of interesting because these wedding venues, they ask for these large sums of money, but then they don't really want any of the money. They want some maybe 3,000 here or 1,500 there.
Like our venue is paid off. We've paid
but
the venue.
Then they everyone wants all the money 2 weeks prior.
Literally,
here's.
Can we stagger this out or something?
You're like, okay, I better have all the money 2 weeks prior.
Paying all that money out at once.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. I wonder why they do that. Maybe it's because what if your wedding gets pushed back? What if there's
but also we're
happens?
signed into contracts with them too.
I know,
so
and we have a minimum we have to pay even if we back out.
So and it's not a small minimum,
No.
So that was kind of interesting, but we successfully did it.
Yeah, and I will say this too, saving all that money per month, we had to kind of give up a little.
We didn't eat out.
We ate out way less.
We were eating out. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
But also I had to curb my Amazon addiction.
Yeah, I had to curb my shopping habit, that I have because I love clothes. But yeah, we had to get really disciplined and basically be we are definitely setting this money aside. No ifs, ands, or buts.
We literally.
We just
you and
automatically would
right
take
when
it
we
out
get our paycheck, we just take it out, and that's money you don't have.
You just don't have
it's
it.
Paying
just
off a loan that. Sort of without interest.
Literally. So, I think we were really good about doing that. I'm really glad we were able to be so disciplined and save. And now it's just time to kind of plan the rest of our honeymoon. Yeah. We've already bought our flights for our honeymoon, and we just need to get into the details now. Yeah. So it's nice to have the wedding paid off ahead of time, and I'm just sitting here I can't wait for the actual day. Let's go past all these other details. I'm I wish the wedding dress is already done and the suit thing's already done. And yeah, I can't wait for the actual day. Yeah, it's been a lot of planning. About a year.
Yeah.
It'll be, once we get there, it'll be about a year of planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us and talking about wedding planning. We're so happy we're able to update you on it and kind of share a little bit about our experience. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.